So I did a video similar to this around 2 or 3 weeks ago where I went over in my opinion, best pulls for the 3.x banners. Now things have slightly changed. Leakers have given us a lot more information, and so I wanted to touch up on it and reform that meta value list that I made around 3 weeks ago, right? So let's get straight into it. So back then I put Robin at my number one. I think for a lot of people, Robin might be the most self-explanatory answer. However, I'm actually changing this and I'm putting Linkshot at number one. The reason is quite simple. We shouldn't be getting any DPS who may be able to take advantage of Robin until around 3.4, which is rumored to be Phenon's banner. Until 3.4, all the new DPSs that we're getting have other best in slots other than Robin, and especially the HP scaling DPSs can't really take advantage of Robin at all, as attack doesn't really do shit for them, right? So Robin until around 3.4 minimum isn't going to have a new DPS that she can really benefit all that much compared to like Remembrance MC or Sunday. So Robin's pull value automatically goes down just slightly for me. She's still one of the most universal harmonies in the game for every 2.x and 1.x DPS, and as well as the Herda. However, outside of those teams, it's just better to use Remembrance MC and Sunday for a lot of the newer DPSs. So her value in the current meta is going to drop just a little slowly, while Sundays is going to continue to skyrocket because literally every single new DPS in 3.x wants to have Sunday as their limited harmony. It is what it is. I hope they end up adding another new harmony at some point as well, not including Tribby, because we already know Tribby isn't really going to be all that special for Remembrance DPSs. So I'm hoping around 3.3 or 3.4, I'm begging we get someone who can as well do something similar to Sunday. It doesn't have to be power creep. It's just so that we can have like two Remembrance DPS teams that aren't completely fighting over Sunday constantly, right? So Linkshot is the number one pick. All of these HP scaling DPSs are going to want Linkshot. She is just straight up the best abundance in the game currently until Hyacine releases. I think it's rumored she'll release around 3.3, who is rumored to be in abundance. Then maybe Linkshot's value will go slightly down. However, even then, if you want to run two HP scalers such as My Day and Casters on different teams, you're just gonna have to use Linkshot on one of them no matter what. And in the first place, Linkshot is just probably the best overall choice for either of those HP scaling DPSs until Hyacine's release. And I don't even think, more specifically for My Day, that someone like Gallagher would even be able to sustain them, or even possibly Luocha. You might need to run like double sustain from the sounds of it, of how leakers are making it out to be, right? Next, we have number two. Number two is Robin, self-explanatory. I'm not going to get into it. Her E1 is broken. Her light cone is nice. She's one of the most universal harmonies in the game. She will add a lot of value and make your old 2.x or even 1.x DPSs last longer in the meta and being able to use them in the end game, right? Number three, the Herda. Herda is just the best DPS option. I've gotten some slack because people have said I'm biased towards the Herda, even though Aglaea's performance fucking falls off a cliff if you don't have Wo-Wo and Sunday. Well, the Herda has like 3 different eruditions, 4 different sustains, and 3 different supports that she can use, and in every single team she's still able to have similar performance levels. And especially if you have the relic investment to specifically run her sustainless, she will shine even greater than normal. So the Herda, in my opinion, is just the most versatile DPS in the game currently, and she's performing on the level of like an Acheron and all of these other old DPSs. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. She performs better than these characters. Straight up, she just performs better than them. It's easier for her to get her interpretation stacks off, and every enhanced skill she does just does more damage than an Acheron ult, and that is without best in slot teammates. This is an emanator, so Tribby in 3.1 will be her best in slot harmony, and in the future I am confident there will be a new limited air edition that will likely replace Jade and make Herda significantly stronger. That's just my opinion. That could just be speculation, but I don't care. I've literally just watched a video of E2 Herda versus E2 Acheron, and an E2 Acheron needed 10 cost to clear as comfortably as a 3 cost E2 Herda. I just can't take it seriously, okay? I don't care about people's feelings on, oh, my Acheron with all this relic investment and speed and E2S1 performs similarly to this Herda who doesn't have any best. I don't care, okay? I really don't care. Herda is just straight up better than all of the 2.x DPSs. It's not even close. Aglaya with an optimal team is better than the Herda and like MOC, not pure fiction. And Apoc Shadow, I also think Aglaya might be slightly better than the Herda, but it's really just not by all that much, right? And anyways, now that we know that Castris is going to use Remembrance MC and Sunday, which are two of the best supports possible for Aglaya, I just don't think you'd want to pull Aglaya, especially if you plan on pulling Castris. Because without her optimal team, once again, it isn't even a fucking fight. If you compare free-to-play team for Herda to free-to-play team to Aglaya, it's just not even a fucking competition, okay? So do keep that in mind. I'm not biased towards Aglaya. I can admit optimal team for optimal team at like E0S1 or E0S0. Aglaya will probably perform better than the Herda. However, that is like the only scenario ever, and you're going to be putting your Sunday on other future DPS's teams anyways, just getting rid of this entire argument, right? So I have Herda at number 3. So before I had Fei Xiao at number 4. Fei Xiao is fucking dipping into the trenches because we got confirmation from leakers all the future endgame is going to be incredibly AoE focused, and it's only going to get more AoE focused, right? And if this MOC is anything to go off of, Fei Xiao is just no longer the strongest comp in the game, not because they themselves aren't the strongest, but because the MOC buffs and the fact that the MOC is targeting AoE and break is just making a lot of other DPSs more viable than Fei Xiao. It just is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it. It's just what Hoyo wants to do to sell the newest path and the newest characters, right? There's just nothing you can do. So I have Fei Xiao removed from the number 4 spot, and instead I'm putting Aglaya in the number 4 spot. Now, I did just shit on Aglaya. However, if you're not planning to pull for Castris, I think it's completely fine to use Aglaya actually, because as far as I know, My Day might want to use Sunday. However, we're not even sure on My Day's teammates currently. So if you don't plan to go for My Day or Castris, you can just use your Aglaya team just fine. And especially Aglaya's E1 is incredibly strong and removes the need for needing Sunday and Huohuo on that team like 100% of the time. Because if you guys don't know, her E1 just allows her to get her energy significantly faster and easier, meaning you can get 100% ult uptime a lot easier, right? She'll still lose overall damage, obviously, if you replace Sunday for like someone else, because Sunday is just that good for old Remembrance characters. However, it's not as reliant on Sunday as she would be without the E1. So Aglaya will still be able to clear all the endgame content. Currently, the endgame content is obviously just favoring AoE DPSs. She's obviously going to be good in pure fiction since she's AoE. Overall, Aglaya has some decent and good value, better value than honestly a lot of the 2.x DPSs. It's just that you're going to be replacing those supports with her to another team. They're going to another team if you go for literally any new Remembrance DPS at all in the future. That's why I've always said Aglaya just doesn't have all that good of pull value. However, that's it. Number 4, Aglaya. Number 5, Jade. Now, the reason Jade is actually under Aglaya here now, even though I used to put Jade like decently higher than Aglaya, is because Jade, I have a feeling, will be replaced. I do think there's a decent chance that the Herda, once again, will end up getting a limited air edition release that is straight up better. It has way better synergy with the Herda than Jade. And if that ever comes, it's highly likely that that erudition will also just straight up be better than Jade in pure fiction and other modes, right? You'll still be able to get value out of her because she's like a sub DPS support. You could just use her on a second team. However, her value will for sure drop if any other new limited erudition support were to release, which probably will, considering the herd as an emanator, and they always do this with these emanators. They always get best in slot teammates down the line. Now, for my number 6 spot, Boot Hill is now above Fei Xiao. Now, the reason I think is just quite obvious. Some people might find this blasphemous. I just don't at all. Break DPSs can at least semi keep up with these AoE stuff, especially with Firefly and Rappa, but Boot Hill himself is Hunt. However, the reason he can keep up is because the endgame is still kinda break focused because of Fugue's release, and in the first place, he is able to better take advantage of his strengths when he now has Fugue. So with Fugue, he can do a shit ton, like I'm not exaggerating, a shit ton of toughness bar damage, allowing him to just get his damage off a lot faster now that Fugue is in the game, right? So because of all this, I see E0S0 Boot Hills sometimes doing like over 1 million in single target damage, and there's not even a buff benefiting him or anything like that. He's just that fucking strong with Fugue and the double toughness bar. It is what it is. His value is, in my opinion, higher than Fei Xiao, because at least the current endgame is semi, leaning towards break as well as AoE. However, just pure single target like Fei Xiao, not really so much. So I do think currently Boot Hill is performing better than a Fei Xiao is. It is what it is. So Boot Hill does have higher value than Fei Xiao currently. And then in the number 7 spot, I have Fei Xiao. Unfortunately, it just is what it is. All future endgame is going to become more AoE focused. All these 3.x DPSs and every single break DPS just has an advantage over her in the endgame until like maybe late 3.x or something like that when we get another hunt unit. She just isn't going to be the strongest anymore. Not because of her own negligence, not because she is weak, but because Hoyo just wants to favor a certain path of characters more to make more money. That's really just all it comes down to. It's very unfortunate to see the downfall. However, most break DPSs and old new AoE DPSs will all just perform significantly better than Fei Xiao in endgame now. It is what it is, right? And lastly, to no one's surprise, Silverwolf is at 8th. Now, keep in mind, if I could have put her at like 20th, I would have. The fact that we now have leaks that Anaxa literally does what Silverwolf does, but fucking better, and that's the second phase of Caster's patch, I don't know what you want me to tell you. Even back here, she was at the absolute bottom of the barrel. And now we know Anaxa just does Silverwolf's job better while being a sub DPS and a lot more of a general crit DPS support. So Silverwolf's value, please just don't pull for her, man. Like, I understand if you really like her design, right, I guess, but just get Anaxa, please. If you just want her because of the weakness implant or whatever, just get Anaxa instead. Wait until 3.2 on the second side. He's a better design. He's a newer character. He's going to be best in slot with a lot more teams, and he just does Silverwolf's job better. So please just do not pull for Silverwolf. If I could put her in like complete F tier, I just would. However, this is just a ranking off of numbers, so she's completely last place. And yeah, that's my list and my reasonings. Lingsha is now number 1. That's probably the biggest change that a lot of people are going to disagree with. However, what do you want me to do? Until 3.4, when Phanon releases, every upcoming DPS's favorite sustain will probably just be Lingsha. There's nothing you can do about that. The only one that might not want Lingsha is Aglaia, simply because Huo is able to give that energy, and Aglaia is incredibly energy hungry. But everyone else, I do have a feeling it's probably just going to be Lingsha. So I hope you all have a good day. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. That is my new updated list for who are the best meta pulls. Once again, just pull for whoever the fuck you like more if you don't want to listen to meta, because honestly, Aglaia is going to clear fine for the majority of 3.x if I had to guess. It's just that you're not going to get that much value out of her. At the end of the day, this is a meta list with my opinions in it. So, hope you all have a good day. Hope you all have a good night. Peace.